Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. It's time for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And for today I've prepared a list of 10 fragrances that I've previously reviewed on my channel, and I'm going to quickly revisit all 10 of them. Just a quick heads up, pretty much everything that you're going to see in today's video will get a positive feedback. All fragrances, I've really liked them since day one that I've acquired them, and to this day I really like them. So yeah, this is going to be a positive video. The first two fragrances that I'm going to show you will be from the brand of Lattafa, and the first one is called Al Nashama, the OG Al Nashama. And this is a very lovely fragrance, a very nice alternative or a clone of Initio's Paragon. It's spicy, it's sweet, fruity sweetness, you get a very nice juicy plum note with this fragrance, you get a bit of a leather, some ambery sweetness on the dry down, you get some nice ouds. It's a very nice fragrance that will get you very close to the original scent. Very sweet, very versatile fragrance that's perfectly unisex in my opinion. Some people may think that it leans to the feminine side, but to my nose this has really been almost spot on unisex. Performance is great, the price is pretty low, very affordable fragrance all around. One of the best new releases from the brand of Lattafa, from late last year and early this year. I really like this one, and nothing has changed since the day I acquired this fragrance. I still like it very much. The second Lattafa that I'm going to feature today is part of the Maahir line, and it's called Maahir Legacy, and this one is a very nice alternative to Parfum de Marly's Sedley. Not a straight up clone of Sedley, but something that will get you very similar, and I really like this fragrance as well. It's very citrusy, it's very fresh, kind of aromatic. There's some fruity sweetness with this fragrance, there's a hint of some green notes, a bit of a peppery feel out of it. On the dry down this becomes a little bit mossy. All around a very nice, very uplifting, very fresh and bright scent that this fragrance has. Performance, at least in my experience from day one that I've got this fragrance, has always been surprisingly good for the fresh scent profile that this fragrance carries. It comes uniquely packaged, it's very affordable, all around a great offering from the brand of Lattafa. The next one will be from the brand of Khadlaj, and it's called Epoque Artistique, and this is a fragrance that received quite a lot of hype, quite a lot of attention earlier this year, and for a very good reason. This is a very interesting take on the DNA of Paco Rabanne's Invictus Victory Elixir. To my nose this feels a little bit fresher, a little bit brighter than the original fragrance. In the opening, on the dry down, gets very close to that very modern, very sweet scent that is a compliment getter, that's a crowd pleaser. And all around, Epoque Artistique is actually not a straight up clone, a clone with a small twist, but I really like what Khadlaj have done with this fragrance. One of the best clones that you can get, as a whole. Quality here is superb, comes really nicely packaged, performance is great. All around a very good offering from the brand of Khadlaj. The only problem about this fragrance is the fact that it's a little bit more expensive and sometimes can be hard to find. At least for me it was quite a tough find before I was finally able to get a bottle of this fragrance. But really it's worth it in my opinion. A great alternative of Invictus Victory Elixir. So if you're looking for such a thing, then definitely check out Epoque Artistique. This is yet another fragrance that I really liked since day one, and I'm really liking it up to this day. The next two fragrances will both come from the brand of Maison Alhambra, which of course is a sub-brand of Lattafa, and the first one is part of the Signatures line, and it's called Signatures number 2, and this is sort of a clone with a twist again of Mancera's Red Tobacco. To my nose this feels like a slightly darker, slightly more masculine take on the DNA of Red Tobacco. It lacks some of the sweetness that Red Tobacco has. This feels a little bit darker, a little bit more heavy, more masculine take on the original DNA. Performance is absolutely fantastic, the quality is really good. All around this is a great offering from Maison Alhambra, which has only two cons in my opinion. As you saw, the atomizer, the sprayer on this fragrance is a little bit on the weaker side, and the other fact is that this only comes in a 50 ml bottle size, which is a real shame in my opinion, because this costs around about the same as any other Maison Alhambra fragrances that comes in actual 100 ml bottle size. But apart from that, this is really nice take on the Red Tobacco DNA. All around, another fragrance that I loved you know, on day one and up to this day I really like a lot. And the second Maison Alhambra fragrance that I'm going to revisit in this video today is called Infini Rose, and of course this is a clone of Initio's Atomic Rose, and again done really nicely. A great rose-based fragrance. Just keep in mind that in order to like this one you really need to like rose-based fragrances, but if you do, this is a great fragrance. It's a jammy, sweet jammy rose that at the same time feels a little bit fresh, not super sweet. You know, has a, for a lot of people this will be feminine leaning, and I can understand why, because of the amount of rose that's been used in here, but I think that guys can rock this one without any problem. You get some fresh rose, you get some sweet rose, you get some ambery sweetness with this fragrance, some spices, some oats. It's done really nicely. Feels really nice and airy in the air, very delicate scent, but has absolutely fantastic performance. It's competitively priced just like any other Maison Alhambra fragrance, and I've really liked this one since day one and up to this day. The next one that I'm going to revisit comes from the brand of Armaf, and it's called Legacy, and to this day I think that this is a hidden gem of a fragrance that doesn't get that much talk, doesn't get that many mentions for some reason, and I'm really wondering why, because this is a really nice fragrance. This is a clone with a twist of Chanel's Platinum Egoist, and I can tell you one thing, that with time this has really gotten quite strong, you know, now that I sprayed it. It's a fragrance that carries a very mature type of vibes. If you have never tried the original fragrance, this is a very old school masculine fragrance that feels quite aromatic. It's spicy, it's green, there's some oats, maybe a hint of sweetness. All around carries a very old school vibe, a little bit of a barbershoppy vibe. Lacks a bit of the metallic edge that the original fragrance has, but it's done really nicely. Performance is surprisingly good, and as I said, with time this only got stronger. Projection is nice, you know, the price is really low. The only bad thing about this fragrance is the really tacky bottle design, but apart from that this is really nice. Another hidden gem, this time from the brand of Zaafaran, that I'm going to revisit today is called 24 Hours Majestic Gold, and this is a clone of Armani's Stronger With You leather. And it's a super cheap clone of Stronger With You leather, and at the same time it's absolutely fantastic. Performance is great, projection is great. This even may feel a little bit like a more masculine take on the DNA of Stronger With You leather, with slightly stronger leather note compared to the original fragrance. Other than that, carries the signature you know, sweetness of the Stronger With You line. You get all of that ambery and vanillic sweetness of the original, but with a very strong leather note. Surprisingly good, as I said. Quality is really nice, performance is super strong, and the best thing out of all is that this is dirty cheap. I paid something like 13-14 euros for my bottle when I got it about a year and a half ago. The next fragrance that I'm going to revisit will come from the brand of Zimaya, and it looks like this. And if you're not familiar with this fragrance that's called Braveheart, and you look at the bottle alone, you'll probably end up thinking that this is a clone of a Memo Paris fragrance, but you'll be completely wrong, because this actually is a clone of Dolce & Gabbana The One Luminous Night, and it's actually a surprisingly good clone of that fragrance. It's more like a twist, not a direct clone. This feels, you know, more sweet compared to the original fragrance. Just lacks a bit of the darkness, lacks a bit of the smoky vibes that the original fragrance has. This, to my nose, feels like a bubblegummy take on the Luminous Night DNA. Also, this fragrance, just like the original one, feels pretty similar to Initio's Side Effect, although this is, again, like a more bubblegummy, sweeter take on that DNA. Surprisingly good quality, surprisingly good performance, and surprisingly cheap price for what you get in return. Super nice fragrance that I've been really enjoying a lot since ever since I got it. I think it was late last year. Super inexpensive, and really, apart from Lumiere Garçon from Fragrance World and French Avenue, I think this is the next best clone of Luminous Night that you can get. Just keep in mind that this is a sweeter, a bubblegummy take on that DNA. But again, since day one, I've really liked the Braveheart from Zimaya. And I'm going to finish off this video with two fragrances from the brand of Fragrance World. The first one is actually sold under the Athoor Al sub-brand, and it's called Ighraa. And again, this is sort of like a little hidden gem. Not too many people have talked about this fragrance, and this is a very interesting clone with a twist of La Nuit de l'Homme Blue Electric. And this is like the cheapest clone of La Nuit de l'Homme Blue Electric that you can actually get. Doesn't feel super close to the original. This feels a little bit more like a soapy take on that DNA. Feels a little bit more powdery. Also feels like having quite a stronger cardamom note. Lacks a bit of that gingery freshness that you get out of the original fragrance, but nonetheless it's done in a very similar style and actually doesn't smell bad at all. Performance is pretty decent, projection is pretty decent, the price is really low. I think I paid something like 16-17 euros for this one, which makes it the cheapest La Nuit de L'Homme Bleu Electric cologne that I have in my collection. And all around, as I said, a little bit of a hidden gem in my opinion. And the last one is again from Fragrance World, but it's sold under the French Avenue sub-brand, and it comes from the niche line of French Avenue, and it's called The Shadow. And this is a superbly done clone of Louis Vuitton's Ombre Nomade. A very strong fragrance with very nice quality. Very similar to the original fragrance. You still get, you get that agar oud rose combo with lots of leather, a hint of raspberry, ambery sweetness, some of that smokiness somewhere in the background. Very strong Middle Eastern vibes with this fragrance. Performance wise, it's an absolute beast, a room filler type of scent that projects really loudly, lasts for a very long time, and again the quality here is absolutely superb. Two problems with this fragrance. The first one is the bottle size, which is only 60 milliliters for some reason, and the second is that it's quite expensive. Usually costs somewhere between 50 to 60 euros, which makes it one of the most expensive clones that the Fragrance World are selling. But again, quality wise and scent wise, this is absolutely superb. I've really liked it since day one, and to this day I really like this one. So the last fragrance that I'm going to revisit in today's video is The Shadow from French Avenue. And so guys, in today's video I revisited 10 fragrances that I've previously reviewed on my channel, and I gave you my updated thoughts on all 10 of them. I hope that you found this video interesting. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me tomorrow for your daily dose of fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.